You know, it's always so tiring having to replace roles. It feels like we just did this a decade ago.
True. Felt like just yesterday we got the last ones. It's hard to believe that 70 years has passed so quickly.
I suppose we shouldn't complain though. Do you remember what it was like during the plague? We were lucky if we got 20 years out of them.
Oh gosh, don't remind me. Not to mention the quality of their blood back then was simply atrocious.
I know that we can't be affected by disease, but I was positively dying for a drink back then.
Oh, that was awful.
Speaking of awful, the quality of these potential thralls that the Order has been sending us this evening.
I don't know. The last one was kind of charming, in a pathetic, useless sort of way.
You always did have a soft spot for the hopeless looking ones.
I guess I sort of look at it like charity. Give them a chance to actually be useful for once in their short little lives, you know?
Ever the philanthropist. But I think even charity has its limits. I want a good one this time.
You mean you want a pretty one this time?
Can you blame me? If I am going to have to look at it for the next half a century, then I at least want it to be something pretty to look at.
My. Looks like you might get your wish after all, my dear.
Wow, this one is certainly more promising than any of the other ones so far. At least based on looks.
It seems on first impressions, things are quite promising for you, little mortal. That's the first time that Morgan's changed her position all night.
Now then, let's have a better look at you. Chase your tail. Go on.
She means spin around? I don't know. It's obviously pretty, but it doesn't seem too bright.
No. It follows instructions. It just needed a little clarification is all.
Oh? Defending them already? If I didn't know any better, I'd think you've already made your decision on this one.
It's just that I know that mortals sometimes have a difficult time adjusting to my regal manner of speech. That's all.
Sure. Moving right along. Tell us, why exactly are you hoping to become a thrall? Wait. Let me guess. You want eternal life and beauty.
You say that as if it's not a good enough reason. I mean, can you say that you don't enjoy being an eternal beauty? Forever a gorgeous... what do the humans call it? MILF?
You raise a fair point. Though, if I am being honest with myself, I wouldn't mind if I looked a few years older like you. I have always had a thing for older women, you know.
Trust me. After 500 years with you, I am well acquainted with your tastes. But we are getting distracted. I believe this little appetizer was meant to be answering a question for you. You've had more than enough time to think about it. What do you say?
My. It seems you are full of surprises, aren't you? You have no interest in immortality? Are you quite sure? The idea of eternal life really does not interest you.
You get more enticing by the moment, I will admit. So now it begs the question. If eternal life is not what you are after, then what are you after?
Careful now. I think we may be dealing with a vampire hunter. Seems our little prospect has a silver tongue, saying that he wanted to become a thrall because of our beauty. Ugh. I guess, well, they aren't interested in immortality. They are still driven by more primal motivations.
Perhaps. Though, if I may, I see a significant flaw in this reasoning. Do you really mean to say, little human, that the only reason you wish to serve one of us is from our sheer beauty?
It's not the most outlandish reason we've heard as to why a human has offered themselves to us. Why so apprehensive? Does their answer not amuse you?
Oh, my sweet, naive little Vampeaches. Taking everything at face value. You have the face of a mature woman, yet the innocent nature of a child. It's quite simple, really. Let's say that you really were so immediately bewitched by our beauty when you came in. That does not explain your reasoning for coming here in the first place.
That's a good point. It's not as if we would have been spotted shopping in the local village or any other silly explanation as to why they would have known what we looked like before presenting themselves to us. I suppose I was distracted by the sudden declaration of infatuation. Oh, I feel quite embarrassed now. It's been a while since I felt this emotion. I do not like it.
It would seem that you've offended our dear Vampeaches. Not a smart move, if I must say. She's got the face of an angel, but she does not take kindly to unpleasant emotions. I would suggest you choose your next words carefully, little human. Unless you like to see that silver tongue of yours bounce along the floor. This is the part where you apologize.
Oh, very well. Apology accepted. I just can't stay mad at that face. It's so pretty. And delightfully pathetic when it's groveling. Well, with that settled, perhaps now you would like to explain the actual reason you came to us.
Uh-huh. So that's what you were after. I suppose it would have been too convenient for a human to volunteer to be a thrall out of sheer generosity to us. Much like a rose has its thorns, your pretty face also hides a more dangerous aspect of yourself. So, it's revenge, is it? I admit I am not quite following. You mean to say that you wish to seek revenge on us?
Perhaps you are confused, little human. I cannot imagine that Morgan or myself are guilty of killing anyone whom you cared about. It has been, oh, goodness. I cannot even remember the last time that she and I went on a proper hunt.
Indeed. We found that it's far more beneficial for us to source our blood from voluntary systems. Types, blood banks, all locally sourced and responsibly controlled. It's made life so much easier not having to constantly migrate in search of new prey. Food sources.
I'm not entirely sure that that's a much better way to say it than prey.
Well, how would you put it then? There isn't exactly a politically correct way to refer to walking food sources, as far as I'm aware.
I believe what Morgan here is trying to say is that we are not to blame for whatever misfortune has befallen you. I apologize if this is a letdown for you, but if your endgame is to seek revenge on whoever wronged you, then your search does not end here. You don't want revenge on us? Then what exactly are you here for?
It would seem we were too hasty in our assumptions. You meant to say that you wanted us to help you get revenge. So it was not eternal life you were interested in, but power. Well, if it is real power you are after, then you've definitely come to the right place. Alright, humor us. Let's say that we gave you this power you seek. What would you do with it?
Werewolves, is it? Oh, I can't stand those filthy degenerates. They give us proper civilized monsters a bad name, causing all sorts of mayhem and barbarism. So, you had a run-in with their kind?
This has certainly made things interesting. In a very, very good way, I think. I admit, I had already made up my mind about you as soon as I saw that pretty face of yours. But revenge for a band of savages destroying your home and driving you into the wilderness, taking everything from you but your desire for revenge. Now that is exactly the kind of thing I crave in a thrall.
And there it is. I can see that spark in your eye.
Quite so. I've made up my mind. You will be my new thrall.
Hey, now hold on a moment.
What is it now? You're spoiling the moment a bit, don't you think?
Well, what if I wanted them to become my thrall? You always get first pick. I should get first pick this time.
Oh? You didn't seem that interested when they first arrived. What makes them so attractive now?
It's because, well, they have a goal in life. Something selfless that they wish to achieve, and they are willing to offer their servitude for their lifetime to earn it. That's commendable for being so fragile and whose life is so dramatically short. And if you must know, I also find them quite lovely to look at.
I knew it. You pretend you're not at all interested in having a pretty thing to look at. But in the end, you and I are the same. We both love to be surrounded by beautiful things. I'm so proud of you, sweetie. It must have been very hard for you to admit that you're every bit as materialistic as I am.
Oh, shush. I admit it, okay? They're so cute and pretty and pathetic for giving away their life for something as silly as destroying a bunch of smelly furballs. I can't help it.
Well, if that is the case, then it would appear that we are at an impasse. We both want them. And I am not doing a coin toss with you again. Not after last time.
Oh, it wasn't that bad.
You lost your temper and almost leveled the city block. We had to blame it on that Serbian inventor down the street and then flee the country.
And I was really starting to enjoy New York too.
Anyways, as a means to avoid this same situation, I have a proposition. You stated that you were enraptured by our beauty when you said why you wanted to be a thrall. Tell us, human, to whose beauty were you referring to?
Morgan, you cheeky vampire. Asking all the hard questions, I see. I also wish to know what the answer to this is. If you had to pick a sweet little human, who would you choose?
Oh, come now. You must choose. Go on. Clearly you had one of us in mind when you said it.
Yes, go on. Tell us. I promise you that you will not be harmed for picking me over Morgan.
I'm going to ignore that. But, as she said, choose, human.
Yes, go on. Choose.
I see. Well, my dear, I just had an idea.
Oh? Alright then. Go ahead, Morgan. Let's hear it.
What would you say if we were to share this thrall?
As in, we would have only one thrall between the two of us?
Precisely so. If they are so adamant on not choosing one of us.
I believe they said they cannot possibly choose between us.
Regardless, if they say they cannot choose, then perhaps we shouldn't make them. If they wish not to pick, then why should we fight over them?
A fascinating proposal. Well, as long as I get to have this little cutie as my thrall, I am willing to share them. I suppose I cannot monopolize them all the time anyway. So, I see no harm in letting you play with them when I don't need them.
You make loving you very hard sometimes. You know this, Vampeaches. But, agreed. I will let you take it on walks and look after it while I am not actively using them. Let's call it charity to the less fortunate.
Well, I guess that settles it then. Starting immediately, you are now both of our thrall. I hope that you're prepared for it, because you will have a lot of work ahead of you. Laundry, chores, warming my coffin.
Let's start smaller for now. We don't want to overwhelm them. For now, how about you fetch us some wine from the cellar to celebrate? You can also warm my coffin a while. My room is the third door from the left on the top floor.
Hey, I heard that.
No, you didn't.
I definitely did hear that. Why do you think that your hearing is better than mine?
Oh, I don't know. It must have been something else.
I've told you before I have the hearing of a bat. I've always told you this.
I always so dramatic. Thank you for listening. If you are still here, please give a like and leave a comment with Pink must love Vampeaches. If you want to hear more of me, then be sure to hit subscribe. And don't forget to click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. Thank you for all your lovely comments, support, messages on Patreon, and for always listening. And I want to give thanks to my patrons for their continuous support, allowing me to work on this channel for all of you. Extra special thanks goes to these beautiful baby cakes: Altivo, Andre Orchestra, Axel, Brandy Corel, David Shepard Jr., E. Men, Filthy VA, GMAC 1212, GX Prime, JK Wolf, Joyce, Junior, Kyan Ray, Lord Butano, Lucas, Marty, Mr. Heydrich, Nose, Ogre, Raphael, Rat Demon, Risky Place, Sully, That Confused Icing, The Lightning King, Delightful or Not, Wandering Soul, Idle Wolf, Heal Kill XX. Hello. See you next time, baby cake.